අද්විතීය 200 Mbps ස්පීඩ් එකකින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ වේගවත්ම සහ පුළුල්තම හෝම් බ්‍රෝඩ්බෑන්ඩ් සම්බන්ධතාවය වන SLT මොබිටෙල් දේශීය ෆයිබර් බලවේගය ඔබත් අදම අත්විඳින්න.
හරිම සුදුයි.
Tonight on First at 9, this Monday, the 24th of April 2023. Entitled to immunity, Court of Appeal issues interim order against arrest or recording statements from former AG Dappula de Oliveira. Better option? Independent MP Professor G.L. Pires says the Express Pearl compensation of $6.2 billion can solve forex crisis.
Now we are in a position to claim approximately $6.4 billion from the owners and the insurance company that insured this vessel. That amount is more than twice what we are getting from the International Monetary Fund.
State revenue. Government earns over 300 billion rupees in tax revenue during the first quarter of this year.
Alliance Finance මෙතුරු රන්නයි සේවාවෙන් රන් පවුම්කට රුපියල් 1,70,000ක ඉහළ අධිකාරම.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දිනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9 with Indivari Amuata. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
And a warm welcome. Let me take you straight to your top story tonight. The Court of Appeal today issued an interim order on the Terrorist Investigation Division preventing the arrest or recording a statement from former Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira pertaining to his controversial statement of a quote grand conspiracy unquote behind the Easter Sunday terror attacks in 2019. Earlier today, the former Attorney General had filed a petition before the Court of Appeal with regard to the summons issued on him to appear before the Terrorism Investigation Division to obtain a statement.
Former Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira was summoned before the Terrorism Investigation Division today for a third time this month to record a statement pertaining to his controversial comment on a grand conspiracy behind the 2019 Easter Sunday terror attacks. Earlier this month, he was summoned before the division on two separate occasions. However, the former Attorney General did not comply with any of the summons. Today, the former Attorney General filed a petition before the Court of Appeal pertaining to the matter, and it was considered before a panel of judges consisting President of Court of Appeal Nishanka Bandula Karunaratne and Judge A.R. Marikar. President's counsel Romesh De Silva appeared in court on behalf of former Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira. Presenting the facts before the panel of judges, he argued that it is problematic for the police to suddenly remember to record statements after 2 years regarding a statement made in May 2021. The President's counsel further claimed that this was an act done with malicious intent and that the police does not have the authority to question or record statement made by his client. President's counsel Romesh De Silva said that his client Dappula de Oliveira made these claims as the then Attorney General and that the police are not capable of questioning an opinion expressed by a lawyer or an Attorney General. He further stated that opinions expressed by him as the Attorney General is entitled to immunity and it cannot be questioned under any circumstances. It was also mentioned that his client as the Attorney General is not able to disclose information. It was also mentioned that his client as the Attorney General is not able to disclose information he received, as it is a privilege of the Attorney General. Accordingly, taking these into consideration, the Court of Appeal issued an interim order preventing the arrest or recording of statements from former Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira by the Terrorism Investigation Division. The Court of Appeal also issued a notice to the respondents of the petition, the Inspector General of Police, the Deputy Inspector General of the Criminal Investigation Department, the Director of the Terrorism Investigation Division, its Station Commander, the President of the Sri Lanka Bar Association, the Attorney General and others to present their facts to court regarding de Oliveira's petition on the 10th of May. In May 2021, the former Attorney General claimed that there had been a grand conspiracy with regard to the 2019 April attacks, noting that evidence and intelligence material and relevant pieces of information must be carefully evaluated in order to reach a conclusion on those who led the attacks. He further mentioned that the information provided by the State Intelligence Service with regard to the targets, places, times, methods of attack and other information remain clear evidence that there was a grand conspiracy.
The Samagi Jana Balavegya filed a complaint with the Criminal Investigations Department today, seeking an investigation into the failure by authorities to take necessary steps to seek legal compensation receivable from the owners of Express Pearl vessel. SJB members state that Minister of Justice Vijayadasa Rajapaksa and former Minister of Justice Ali Sabri should reveal of any individuals involved in any form of corruption regarding the case.
The western coast of Sri Lanka suffered severe ecological damages in May 2021 when the Singapore flag-bearing vessel Express Pearl caught fire off the coast of Sri Lanka and sank to the bottom of the ocean. Sri Lanka is entitled to receive compensation of $6.2 billion from the owners of the vessel. However, in the past 2 years, no steps were taken to seek legal action in order to obtain the compensation. Commenting on the matter recently, Minister of Justice Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa stated that a high-ranking official was bribed with $250 million to not pursue the case. Given this backdrop, the Samagi Jana Balavegya today filed a case with the CID to commence an investigation as to why officials did not take measures to seek compensation until now.
සිංගප්පූරුවේදී මේ නඩුව පවරන්න $4 මිලියන් 4.5ක් යනවා. ලංකාවේ අධිකරණයක් තුල මේ නඩුව පැවරීමට හැකියාව තිබියදී සිංගප්පූරුවේ අධිකරණයක් තුල මේ නඩුව පවරන්න කටයුතු කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් අධිකරණ ඇමතිවරයා සහ නීතිපති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව ඔවුන්ගේ වගකීම හරියට ඉටු කරලා තියනවාද ඒ පිටිපස්ස වෙනත් බීල් එකක් තියනවාද කියන මේ කාරණා දෙක සම්බන්ධයෙන් තමයි අපි අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට මේ පැමිණිල්ල ඉදිරිපත් කරුවේ.
අධිකරණ ඇමතිතුමත් ජනාධිපති නීතිඥවරයෙක් මේ හානිය මේ රටට වෙනකොට හිටපු අධිකරණ ඇමතිත් ජනාධිපති නීතිඥයෙක් අලි සබරි මැතිතුමා. එතකොට අද මේ දෙන්නම වගකීමක් තියෙනවා. මේ දූෂණයට සම්බන්ධ නිලධාරීන් හෝ පුද්ගලයන් ඉන්නවා නම් ඒ වෙහෙලිදරව් කරන්න $1 බිලියන 6ක් කියන්නේ අපිට IMF එකකින්වත් ලැබෙන්නේ නැති මුදලක්. වහම මේ පිළිබඳව පරීක්ෂණයක් කරන්න.
Independent MP Professor G.L. Pires points out that despite government's efforts to say that the IMF program is the only solution to the country's economic crisis, a massive $6.4 billion compensation entitlement through the Express Pearl disaster has been neglected. Professor Pires went on to say that no action has been taken by relevant authorities for 2 years to take steps to obtain compensation, which is twice as much as the IMF's bailout.
The Parliament of Sri Lanka will be debating the agreement which the government has reached with the International Monetary Fund. This was an agreement which was reached not smoothly, not easily, but the price of it was subjection to highly onerous and oppressive conditions. Sri Lanka has to alienate institutions and enterprises which we have built up with tremendous energy and perseverance. The alienation of some of these institutions entails not only financial but also security implications. Take for example Sri Lanka Telecom, undersea cables, sensitive information which has been gathered. Now all of this is going to be sold to foreign companies. Then there is the insurance corporation, under it Litrogas, Lanka hospitals and so on. All of this has to be alienated. Cynically contrary to solemn assurances which we gave the people of Sri Lanka during the presidential election of November 2019 and the parliamentary election of August 2020. We have forgotten all of that. We have gone back on every word that we said to the people of our country. There are other ways of obtaining for our country much needed foreign exchange, a far greater volume than we are receiving from the International Monetary Fund. The Express Pearl disaster, which occurred in the territorial waters of Sri Lanka approximately 2 years ago. The ship was burning for several days and it sank in the Sea of Ceylon, as it is called, discharging into our waters toxic chemicals, including tourism completely destroyed, the livelihoods of our fishing communities. So there was an incalculable impact on the economy, on our environment, and the health and well-being of our people. Now, we are in a position to claim approximately 6.4 billion US dollars from the owners and the insurance company that insured this vessel. That amount is more than twice what we are getting from the International Monetary Fund. And mind you, the 6.4 billion is not a loan. Loan means you have to pay capital and interest. Here you don't have to pay anybody. It belongs to Sri Lanka. Total ownership is with Sri Lanka. There is no need to impose this degree of anguish and hardship on our people. It is ours to claim. It belongs to us. Other countries have done that, including the United States of America, Egypt. They have bestirred themselves, claimed compensation in the appropriate fora through proper procedures. And they have got the compensation to which they were entitled. Nothing of the sort has happened in Sri Lanka. Today we see in the media an announcement by the Attorney General of Sri Lanka that he proposes today to file action in Singapore. Why this long slumber? 2 years, we have only about 600 hours left. 600 hours left. It is literally at the 11th hour that people are waking up from their slumber and instituting proceedings in Singapore. Is that the best course of action for our country? The courts of Sri Lanka have complete jurisdiction in respect to this matter. There is no need to sink some more millions of dollars into proceedings in Singapore. This calamity occurred not on the high seas, but within the territorial waters of this country. So why was it not considered to institute this proceeding in Sri Lanka? Were there compelling reasons, cogent considerations? We need to know who made this decision, who endorsed it.
The Commissioner General of the Inland Revenue Department, Dr. S. Hapuarachi says, DRS Hapuarachi says, the department has collected 316 billion rupees in tax revenue during the first quarter of this year. In a statement, Hapuarachi pointed out that when compared to the tax revenue of 146.5 billion rupees collected during the first quarter of year 2022, the revenue collection has increased to 316.6 billion during the first quarter of this year. He added that when compared to the first quarter of the previous year, the improvement is a 216% increase in tax revenue. The Commissioner General pointed out that the cause for improved tax revenue growth could be attributed to NIC's new tax policy, a gradual improvement of the country's economic situation, and enhanced efficiency of tax administration. Chairman of the Yuthukama organization, Gevindu Kumaratunga, says that they see the teachers holding children's lives hostage by postponing A-level paper marking to fulfill their demands as a terrorist activity. Meanwhile, Secretary to the Ceylon Teachers Union, Joseph Stalin, emphasized that the Department of Examinations as well as the Department of Education are responsible of collectively making a decision on paper marking.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe stated last week that the law which makes education an essential service will be strictly implemented if teachers do not engage in the paper marking process. President further stated that legal action will be taken against any teacher not attending paper marking this week. Following these comments, teachers' trade unions, however, stated that they will not be intimidated by the president's remarks and called for solutions to their issues.
The FUTA stated that they would gather as a trade union and hold discussions to make a decision with regard to the A-level paper marking process. In this backdrop, the Department of Examinations organized a meeting for the controlling inspectors of selected subjects. It is said that this procedure is carried out for the subjects that do not require university teachers to mark papers. The process of marking papers must be done together. It is the responsibility of the Department of Examinations as well as the Department of Education to collectively make a decision on this matter by holding discussions with all parties and start this process. It is clear that youth lives are wasted, with the paper marking process being postponed and the education system being pushed back. We are in a situation where we must find solutions by disregarding political power and struggles to look at the future generations sympathetically. We see the university teachers holding the lives of children hostage as a terrorist activity. They have the right to take trade union action. But we believe that holding the lives of the children hostage to fulfill their demands is wrong. Please think about this again. Protecting free education is our responsibility. Through this process, free education is challenged as unimportant.
දරුවන්ට සහ දෙමාපියන්ට අපි කෙරේ විශ්වාසය තියන්න
උසස් පෙළ ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍ර නැවලීම ආදී කාරණා නිසා
We will appear on behalf of the children. Preparations are made to hold a meeting of the Federation of University Teachers Association with regard to this. The issue along with the trade union action as well as future trade union action are to be discussed during the meeting tomorrow evening. The government must finish this without postponing. We kept the trust of the children as well as the parents.
A sudden power outage was reported in several areas within Colombo city and suburbs at around 4:30 in the afternoon today. Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara later confirmed in a tweet that power supply to all areas were restored. Power supply was disrupted to Colombo 4, 5, 7, 8, 10 and 12 areas and the suburbs. The Ceylon Electricity Board said power supply was interrupted to the areas as a result of a sudden breakdown and a cable explosion of the 132 kilovolt grid substation at Kolonnava. A minor earthquake of magnitude 4.4 on the Richter scale was recorded today around 25 kilometers off the coast of Hambantota area. According to the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, the tremor was felt in the Badulla, Kandy and Mavanalla areas as well. Meanwhile, speaking at a media briefing, an official of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau stated that the Bureau is making use of calculations to identify probable places where tremors could occur in the future.
According to the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, the tremor was reported 25 kilometers off Hambantota at around 12:45 am today and was measured at magnitude 4.4 on the Richter scale. Speaking to AdaDerana English News, an official from the Bureau stated that the tremor was felt in the Badulla, Kandy and Mavanalla areas as well. However, the GSMB assured that there is no need to have undue fear in this regard. A minor tremor was last reported in Hambantota area on the 24th of August last year, measuring a magnitude of 2 on the Richter scale. Today's earthquake comes in a backdrop where several earthquakes have occurred during the past 3 months in the Buttala, Beruwela, Kirinda, Gomarankandavala and Hambantota areas. Speaking at a media briefing, Senior Director of the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau, Starin Fernando said that officials are investigating into the frequent earthquakes reported in recent times.
දැන්ට කිසිම වාර්තාවක් වෙලා නැහැ අපිට කිසිම ඩැමේජ් එකක් වෙච්ච බවට. නමුත් කම්පැනි ලංකාවේ විවිධ ප්‍රදේශ වලට දැන්ලා තියෙනවා. භූවිද්‍යාත්මක දත්ත අනුව අපිට විශාල භූකම්පනයක් බලාපොරොත්තු නොහැකි වුණත් සුළු කම්පන මිතික සිදුවීම එනවා. අපි ඒ අනුව ගන්නේ කිරීම සිදු කරමින් වඩාත්ම භූමිකම්පනක් සිදුවේ හැකි ස්ථාන අඳුරා ගමින් පවතිනවා. අද දින අපේ භූවිද්‍යාඥ කණ්ඩායමක් හම්බන්තොට ප්‍රදේශයට යැවීමට සලසලා තියෙනවා. මේ භූකම්පනයෙන් යම්කිසි ආපදාවක් බිල්ඩින් වලට මොකක් හරි ඩැමේජ් එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවද කියලා නිරීක්ෂණය කිරීම සඳහා.
We'll be back with more news after this short break. Do stay with us.
ගොඩමඩ පෙරලි කරන බලපුළුවන් කාරයා මහින්ද්‍රා යුවෝ ටීමෝ වෙතින්. වැඩම ගොඩයි ගොඩම තමයි ස්වරාජ් ට්‍රැක්ටර් ටීමෝ වෙතින්. මේ අලුත් අවුරුද්දේ හිත පිරෙන ගනුදෙනුවකට හොඳම තැන හිත ගිය තැන බැංකුව HNB.
පාරිභෝගිකයන් වෙත අසම සම ප්‍රතිලාභ හිමි කර දීම අපට අභිමානයක්. රුපියල් බිලියන 9.8ක බෝනස් නිකුතුවක්. මාසිකව වන්දි ගෙවීම රුපියල් බිලියන 1.8ක්. මානුෂීය හේතුන් සැලකිල්ලට ගනිමින් වන්දි ලබා දීම. ශ්‍රී ලංකා ඉන්ෂුරන්ස්.
Welcome back. We take you to business news. The Port of Trincomalee began night operations today. According to the Ministry of Ports and Aviation, night navigation operations have been facilitated with equipment permitted by the government of Japan. Vessels calling at the port had to anchor at the outer harbour overnight and enter during the daytime due to lack of night navigation facilities so far. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Ports stated that the Trincomalee port did not have facilities for night operations until now. Japan, under a 1 billion yen grant project, provided a vessel traffic management system, radar lighthouse equipment, 16 navigation buoys, 2 morning buoys, 2 400 kilowatt generators, 14 fire pumps and a pilot vessel facilitating operations of night navigation. The Colombo Bourse closed negative today, once again followed by continued sessions of selling amid low investor participation. Today's market closed in the lowest since April 4th as investors await upcoming quarterly results and clarity on domestic debt restructuring. The SPI fell below 9,200, losing 73 points. The indice's dip was a result of price losses in counters such as Had National Bank, Commercial Bank and Expo Lanka Holdings. Meanwhile, high net worth and institutional investor participation was noted in Sampath Bank, John Keells Holdings and Chevron Lubricants. Mixed interest was observed in Dialog Asiata, Expo Lanka Holdings and Lanka IOC, while retail interest was noted in Blue Diamonds, Brown's Investments and Softlogic Capital. Meanwhile, turnover was recorded at 678.6 million rupees, contributed by capital goods sector and banking sector counters. Furthermore, foreigners closed as net buyers during today's session. And the Sri Lankan rupee closed steady at 321.50.90 against the US dollar today. Here's a look at how the currency rates traded today. And that wraps up tonight's edition of First at 9 on AdaDerana 24. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. Good night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit AdaDerana.lk.